Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia for Powerlifting America's 2025 National Championships, Day 3.
Every lift counts as national champions will be sent to represent their country on the world stage in Germany in June.
Remaining top athletes will qualify for the North American Regional Championships in July, as well as SPD Austin in November, where athletes will have an opportunity to break American records and fight for the prize pool of $12,000.
We begin with the 76 kilo category, where we see rising star and reigning national champion Creighton Warford leading the pack and looking to retain her national title, ahead of Jasmine C., who is making her Powerlifting America Open national debut, and two-time junior world competitor in Jessica Kinney.
In the action-packed 93 kilo class, we will have excitement in each of the disciplines, as the current world record holder in the squat, Gavin Aiden, will battle it out with Jamar Royster. In the bench press, look out for Jonathan Kaiko, returning multiple-time world champion and current world record holder in that discipline. But they will be met on the platform with Brandon Petrie, 2024 national champion. In the 105 kilo class, Anthony McNaughton will look to secure his position on the national team, but he will have to best the total from Keenan Lee put up earlier today.
Don't go anywhere. The action is about to begin.
And we're back. Powerlifting America, Day 3 at the Nationals. And in this flight, we have the 76 kilo women. And of course, on the men's side, the 93 and 105. Amelia, we're expecting some battles in the 76s, of course. Creighton Warford returns, not only the returning national champion, but also a world's medalist, and she'll be heading to represent USA at World Games. But she'll be met on the platform by Jasmine C., longtime veteran junior star, who's going to come and contest for that title.
Yeah, we also see there, currently on prognosis in fourth, Jessica Kinney, who has represented Team USA at Junior Worlds on a couple of occasions. It's going to be a big battle. Creighton coming in hot and heavy. The current reigning champion represented USA in Lithuania last year at Worlds. We, of course, have a huge battle, as you said, coming on the men's side later, with the women completing their squats first.
Yeah, it's going to be toe-to-toe action, 93 kilo class in particular. We have the big three with Gavin Petrie and the returning Jonathan Kaiko, former world champion. And in the 105s, we'll see the conclusion. Keenan Lee posted a big 9:58 earlier today, but Anthony McNaughton knows the number he has to beat, and if he can do so, he'll wind up on Team USA.
Yeah, and that is all to come. As you said, we have the standings of the 76s above. Really quite excited to see what Creighton does today. You know, she's been putting up some big numbers in training. Of course, has dealt with a couple of injuries coming into this, so hoping to see her at full strength and healthy today. And if we do, she is dangerous, Ryan.
Dangerous? Is she 600 kilos dangerous? We'll see if she can join the 600 kilo club. And up now, Sarah Ulrich, 135. Ulrich.
Sarah competed at SPD Raleigh, but in the morning session, so has bumped herself up to the Primetime session here at Open Nationals in her PA Nats debut.
Nice smooth opening squat there.
Opening up at 308 pounds, bar is loaded for Elise Yeager.
And Elise Yeager, 140 kilos.
Yeah, pretty conservative opener for Elise here. Has a personal best of 175. So we'll see how she paces her jumps here. She last competed in January, so not not too long ago, really. Wow, very, very quick opener.
Looks good for Elise.
And it is 3 white lights, a good lift, and as we said, well below her best, so as expected, getting a squat on the board and maybe making some bigger jumps there. Have to wait and see.
Samantha Terry up next, 152.5 kilos for her opening squat. Nice, smooth, plenty more where that is.
And 2 to 1, a good lift. Does get a depth pull there on the left side.
That's interesting.
But, you know, the jurors seem happy with it, and usually you do often see lifters who hips just aren't even when they squat down. There could be a hip that is slightly higher.
157.5 for Lauren Wright.
Nice steady opener. Lauren's competed on the international stage at IPF University Worlds back in 2022. So, ooh, blues there from each side. Referees, have a look at that, the replay, Ryan. See if we can see what happened. And it has to be the knees, I reckon there.
Knees unlocked at the top. Lauren Acey, 160. And although Lauren missed that, it was easy work. Small adjustment by locking the knees, she'll be fine.
Nice comfortable opener there for Lauren Acey. A good lift, 3 white lights. And interestingly enough, Bar, Cranen and Jessica, who's both competed for USA on an international level. I believe the other lifters in this flight, this is their PA Nats debut. So very, very interesting.
Yeah, they will have hit at least one qualifier to get in here, but for some of them, they're right in the mix. First major meet. There's a lot of eyeballs on here. Let's see how they adjust. Amber, 165. That looks like a high bar.
Yeah, Amber, pretty new, only competing since 2024. Already incredibly strong.
And this is where hats off to Amber, jumping right up in the mix on Primetime PA Nats. It's a lot of pressure for somebody who's so new to the game.
Yeah, and these are the kind of people we typically expect to see fast progression from. So excited to see where she ends up today. Currently with a 420 PR total.
Emily Joel, 165. Easy work.
It's a good lift, 3 white lights. Runs on and off of the platform.
Rachel Mulumba, 170.
Most recently competed in December, hitting a 467.5 total. So no, 487.5. Again, still less than a couple years into competing. Yeah, very, very comfortable, especially considering it's only 7.5 kilos below what we know to be her PR.
Quick gains can be made, and she looks happy with it. Jessica Kinney up next, 182.5.
And she will be doing her best to try and chase Karenin. From the look of prognosis, it seems like the top three really are on an island of their own ahead of the rest. Jessica has competed at an international stage. She is tried and tested.
Two-time junior world champ, third place in nationals, competed at SPD Raleigh and APFs. Well ventured, she will not be overcome by the moment. Easy 400-pound squat to open it up.
That was a good lift, 3 white lights, a good start to the day there for Jessica.
Danielle Lamarca, 185 for her opening squat.
One of the 3 lifters in the flight that we know of to have hit 200 or above on squats. Again, another relatively new lifter, has been competing since 2023, seeing some real talent in this fight, Ryan.
It also speaks to what the next couple of years might look like. These ladies are already in prime time. Won't take long before they start catching up. 3 white lights to the likes of Jasmine and Cranen. And speaking of Jasmine C, 195. Now Jasmine, I remember way back 2019, her at the Junior Worlds, 2020 actually, it was fighting for national titles. She's been in the game for a long time at the top end.
Yeah, and if anyone is going to really put the pressure on Cranen today, it's going to be Jasmine.
Cranen's definitely the favorite, but if she misses, Jasmine will make her pay.
And it's an easy opener for Jasmine. Strong start to the day, and 2 to 1, a good lift, just a depth call there. We'll see in the replay the side she gets that depth call from, so we can see if she's in any sort of danger moving forwards. Should be fine with that. Jury are discussing it, but I think they're happy to let it pass.
197.5 for 2024 World's bronze medalist, Cranen Warford.
Yeah, an absolute rising star. Cranen Warford competed at Worlds in 2024, has only been competing a couple of years, and she continues to progress and get stronger and stronger. Like we said, if today goes well, I imagine we'll see 600 kilos today or very, very soon from her.
She definitely looks capable. Hit 585 at Worlds. Wow. Oh, that was comfortable.
And that is a good lift, 3 white lights. And getting that first squat out of the way would have meant a lot to her, so now she can relax into the day a little bit, especially with how well that moved.
145 for Sarah as we begin the second round of squats.
10-kilo jump from her opener, leaving her just 5 kilos below her personal best.
Despite this being her debut at the national scene, she's been competing since 2019. Slowly building to this moment. And international's debut ends up on Primetime. Comfortable second attempt.
But unfortunately,
depth.
Gets called on depth from both side referees.
From the front, it looked okay, and that's the judge that gave her a white light. But 2 to 1, her coach can go to the jury. And Elise Jager, 147.5, 7.5 kilo jump for her from her opening squat.
Yeah, her opener was extremely fast. She scored 175 before, perhaps dealing with some sort of injury coming into this today. That's the explanation I would have expected. I think should this move as quickly as her opener or near it, that probably is what we would anticipate to have happened.
What do you think, Amelia?
It's a good lift. It definitely wasn't as quick as our opener, nor do we normally expect it to be, but it definitely didn't seem like it was still conservative for a second. What do you think?
Perhaps, you know, it's moving well now, so probably not injured now, but it's a fair bit below her previous personal best. I'm assuming at some point an injury occurred. Maybe she's just rebounding at this moment. Lauren Wright, 157.5, and if we remember, no issue with the weight, just needs to make sure to lock her knees.
Yeah, just a quick unlock at that top part of the squat. It's a little harder, but it does look better, at least from this angle.
3 white lights, she's good.
363 pounds for Samantha Terry.
Samantha Terry, 165 for her second attempt.
Opting here for a 12.5 kilo jump. See how this affects her moving into her second. Of course, it's important going into your second attempt to acknowledge that you're trying to pace yourself for 3 attempts. You don't want to empty the tank on your second by any means.
Yeah, some lifters are comfortable with these bigger jumps. To your point, you do conserve energy. Ooh, but
Yeah,
looked like a bit of a shift there. Oh, and she somewhat hops off and now looks very uncomfortable as she exits the platform. Take a look at this. A wobble at the bottom was clear, and hopefully she's not injured. Amber, 172.5.
opting for a 7.5 kilo jump here, and you know, it'll be interesting to see where Amber ends up. As I mentioned before, her personal best 177.5, still very, very new to competing, so perhaps should this move well, looking for that 180 today. Wow, smiles, he looks to the side. It's a good lift, 3 white lights, a little slow at the beginning portion of the squat, but sped up a lot as she stood up towards the end portion.
Lauren Acey, 172.5 for her second attempt. Sizable 12.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, and we've seen that not be quite successful one lifter so far, so let's see if Lauren handles that 12.5 kilo jump a little bit easier.
There's where it kind of cues me up to say the disadvantage on it. So the pro is you conserve your energy by having a lighter opener. The disadvantage, jumping big, your body might not be acclimatized yet for the heavier weight. And you never know how that'll go.
Oh, went very, very well for Lauren there. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights. And even if some athletes do take these jumps in training, you know, it is worth taking into account the variables of having to make weight and recomp and the effect that's going to have on how those jumps feel.
Emily Joel, 175. Emily, all types of full of energy.
Already looking to match her personal best here on her second attempt. Good lift, 3 white lights.
Rachel Mulumba, 180, 10 kilo jump.
already surpassing her personal best here by 2.5 kilos. Wow.
Easy work.
Yeah, very comfortable looking second for Rachel.
That is the equivalent for Rachel at 396. Ours weight 424.
More than anything as well, it gives the lifter confidence that you can go out and take another squat when it's not something that's already a bit of a grind on your second.
Jessica Kinney, 192.5. As you take a look at the 4 class, assuming all the lifters make all their attempts, Cranen, a decent enough lead, but Jasmine close enough. She could force Cranen's hand. She can't miss in the bench press and deadlift.
Still fairly comfortable for Jessica there with a 10-kilo jump, going over her PR of 190. Looking really, really strong today. And I'm sure she'll have her eyes on those above her, making sure she does all she can. If they make any mistakes, trying to creep up there, take position.
Danielle Lamarca, 195.
That was a missing squat. The lift is good.
Strong. Seen some really nice second attempts here. Had a couple of misses for various reasons, but on the most part, seeing great decision making and execution.
207.5 for Jasmine C.
Yeah, so making a 12.5 kilo jump here.
Jasmine, you got to think the game plan is hit your lifts, stay close enough, and if opportunity strikes, take it. If not, defend silver.
Yeah, build as big a subtotal as possible. Big deadlift, but not quite as big as Cranen's that we know of.
Oh, Cranen's deadlift's big.
Wow, and that is easy for
Yeah.
a second attempt for Jasmine.
Jasmine looks strong today. 2-1, no good though.
Yeah, and from the front it was hard to tell, so we'll have a look from the sides, as usually is the case. We're looking for that hip crease to go below the top of the knee joint, and it does look on the line. The coach does go to the jury, but first,
Cranen Warford, 207.5 for Cranen.
opting for a 10-kilo jump here. Her and Jasmine both matching on second attempts. Of course, Jasmine not able to make the 207.5 as it stands.
Cranen has previously hit 220. Let's see how 207.5 moves.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that
Lot
10
more there.
kilo did not slow her down whatsoever.
So where do you think she lands on her third, Amelia?
I completely see another 10-kilo jump there. I can't really imagine them taking it. They could, but I can't imagine Joey putting on more than an equal match jump. So just below her personal best, and it definitely helps them that Jasmine would have missed that second attempt. Feels a little less pressure now.
150 for Sarah. Missing 145 in her second, opting to move up regardless. It's going to be on that line.
Yeah, in terms of speed, it was fine. But unfortunately, yeah, I think just already aware of the depth, and also that being her match PR, should she have got it, just unfortunately couldn't meet the standard today.
155 for Elise Jagger.
Yeah, opting for another 7.5 kilo jump. Once upon a time having that 175 on her back, but important to take what you have on the day. And let's hope that's 155.
Oh.
So come on.
You almost switched their mic that times. Three white lights. Samantha Terry, 165. Samantha, if you remember, left the platform hobbled.
Yeah, got it up just slightly out of the hole, but quick fail after that. Seemed to walk on okay this time round, so hopefully feeling healthy and can keep in that position to grind through if it gets a little bit difficult.
That looks a little high, though, is the problem.
Unfortunately, I've got to agree with you there, Ryan. It just seems too high. Yeah. Very rarely would we call it before we see the lights, but we'll have a look again on the replay from a slightly easier angle to tell.
So if there was an issue in terms of some kind of an injury, self-preservation kicked in and the depth got a little bit higher. You see that sometimes. As Lauren Wright, 165 for her third and final.
Yeah, just missed that opener on her knees, unlocking at the top of her squat. Retook it and got it in a second. Looking here to gain an extra 7.5 kilos, as long as she can keep the quality of lifting she found on her second.
Whoa, those knees came right in, but she fought through it. 2-1, it's good.
Still a blue from the left-hand side, but she's got that on the board, and the jury seem happy with it.
180 kilos now for the third and final squat for Amber.
Yeah, making that 7.5 kilo jump for a PR of 180, as we thought she might have done. Seemed based off her second that this is something she should be able to manage, but whether she can today is another question. So let's see if that's here for her on the national platform.
Not often you see high bar these days. Wow, she's smiling already. She hit the hole and was already smiling. That's confidence early.
And it is a good lift, 3 white lights.
I'm used to see people smile by the time you get the lockout, but never in doubt. And Emily Joel, 180. And she's all types of energy. Conserve yourself, young lady. It's a long day.
Yeah, absolutely. And this would be a PR, so you definitely need every ounce of energy you can get.
Living up the moment here on Primetime.
That's a great third from Emily.
It's funny, she's all energetic when she hits the platform, but when she's fighting, and that was a fight, no expression on her face whatsoever. You can't even tell if she's in the middle of a fight, except for the bar speed.
That's because she used it up getting onto the platform, Ryan.
Lauren Acey, 182.5.
Yeah, surpassing her PR of 177 here for a 5 kilo PR.
Oh, left knee kicked in a little bit, but she was able to right it.
The lift is good, 2 to 1.
And 2 to 1, a good lift for Lauren.
Our next weight, 413 pounds. The lift weight
187.5 for Rachel Mulumba.
bar is loaded for Rachel.
Already hitting a PR in a second. This would give her a 10 kilo PR today. Should she make this? Could be working towards that 500 kilo total today. Certainly seems in the cards for her.
Somebody clap their hands right now. The more you do, the more they do.
You know what, for a third, that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, plenty left in the tank. But a long day to go.
Our next weight, 435 pounds for Jessica Kinney.
And it was still a 10 kilo PR. It's not like Joey held her back any.
No,
Bar is loaded.
not at all.
197.5 for Jessica Kinney.
Another lifter with a big PR. Should she make this 7.5 kilos?
Jessica and Rebecca will be fighting for that podium. It'll be a tight, close race. She could use these 5 kilos.
Unfortunately not. There's a lot of power from the bottom of the squat, but just ran out of steam.
Our next weight, 436 pounds.
She seems a little bit confused about something. But she's going to have to take what she got on the day, unfortunately.
Danielle Lamarca, 202.5, being handled by Megan Scanlon, no less, 63 kilo world champion, winner of the Battle of the 63s at Sheffield, and of course, just recently retained her American title and unofficially broke the world record just yesterday. A little too much. Just trying to say all the accolades for Megan and almost ran right through the lifters. You gotta be careful, the resume you're trying to spit out. It's a little too dipped. Whoa. Nice catch by the spotters and loaders there. 210, so Jasmine missed 207.5, not on strength, but on depth. They opt to go up anyways.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would have wanted a little more than this, her PR being 212. Like you said, it wasn't a strength issue, but it's important to stay mindful of the fact you have to meet the standards, especially when you're in a big fight with 2 other strong lifters.
You know, we've talked about how if Cranen makes a mistake, Jasmine can capitalize, but she does have to keep an eye on Jessica and Rebecca, because if she makes a mistake, the same can happen to her, and ooh.
Yeah, and she definitely hit depth that time round, it seemed, but unfortunately, those extra couple inches can make it that much harder.
Now the ladies who are vying for bronze might be eyeballing silver.
479 pounds.
It's going to be some battles on the podium. 217.5 for Cranen Warford, world's medalist 2024.
Looking to match her jump from her first to her second here. Another 10 kilo jump as we expected. I think the right move here. We're seeing misses from Jessica and Jasmine, looking to collect as many kilos as she can here and looking strong doing it.
Crowd is literally incensed. Cranen, extremely popular lifter.
Wow, bullies it up. A great final attempt and a good lift.
She literally gave a sigh of relief afterwards.
And she said to us before, Ryan, once squats are done, I can relax and have a little bit more fun, and they're done. If that's her not relaxed, let's wait for bench and deadlift.
Yeah, you saw on the replay there, her toes came up at the top of the lockout. Last year's Nationals, she missed her second attempt. Toes came up, rocked backwards, showed a lot of heart, rallied, hit them the same weight that she missed. And I think that's why she breathed a little bit of sigh of relief as her feet came back flat. 275. Now we move directly into the 93s, starting a new flight. Kyle De Leon.
Really a lot of names in the fight for podium should any of the top three miss. Kyle De Leon with a PR total of 870, but we don't know the progress people have made.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, obviously you have the big three, Jonathan Kaiko, Gavin Aiden, Brendan Petrie, but beneath them, Jamar.
Oh!
Whoa, whoa! Nice catch by the spotters.
Oh, and he looks like he's wincing a little bit there. And he walks off on his own accord. That's just...
You know, this is not what you expect to see when it comes to an opening squat. Usually it's just business as usual, particularly the very first opener.
Yeah,
Yikes.
he just seemed to tip back a bit and then forward onto his knees. Hopefully just a balance issue and something he can amend on a second. Hopefully coming out unscathed.
Demetrius Smith, Meech, 93 kilo upstart. A lot of expectations on this young man. He has a huge deadlift. And I was just about to say, you have the big three, and then beneath them, another three that could easily move into a podium situation should the opportunity arise. 277.5 for Meech.
Yeah, and other than Dominique Fuqua, Demetrius is one of the lightest of the 93s, I believe.
Yeah, he's just growing into this weight class.
Wow.
That was easy.
That was extremely easy. 3 white lights, a good lift. It's all business. It's a long day ahead of him.
Met that young man last night. Super nice. Brendan Jones, 290. There's Sean Noriega doing some handling. Sean, one of the men battling yesterday,
Brandon.
put on a great performance.
Brandon won Junior Nationals in 2024, placed second at Worlds in 2024 at Junior Worlds. Quite a list of achievements under his name. And I know that loss at Junior Worlds meant a lot to him, so I'm sure he's put a lot into his training and has a lot to show here today. Still a junior in his last year.
He's got experience internationally, but this is a whole nother ball game. Woof. That's how an opener's supposed to move. I was about to say, he's got a lot of international experience. Whole nother ball game. You got names like Jonathan Kaiko, Brandon Petrie, and Gavin Aiden. These are men who have competed on the world stage in the open, won world titles, broken world records. Trey, 290. Nice, smooth opening squat by Trey.
That is a good lift. Yeah, once that first squat is out the way, you know, you can sigh a bit of relief. You're on the board, you can push from there.
And here's the 93 kilo legend. Look, when you're looking at resumes in the 93 kilo class, it's gonna be this man's that's gonna take the #1 spot. The most decorated 205er we've ever seen. 292.5, look at the smirk on his face.
Yeah, it's great to see him back after a year-long break. 2-time IPF world champion, played second at Sheffield in 2023 and in 2024. Talk about achievements.
You know how hard it is to podium at Sheffield, to do it back-to-back years.
And his PR squat is 305, opening on 292.5. Hopefully a healthy break.
Easy work there.
And a 2-to-1, a good lift.
And Jonathan's prep for this competition has been phenomenal. There's whispers and chatter of a possible 10 times body weight in the 93s. This would be the first time ever, if it can happen. And up next, 295 for Brendan Petrie. Last year's Worlds, Brendan ended up on the podium.
Reigning national champion. And as you said, at his Worlds debut, managed to get on the podium, an 887.5 total. He's totaled more since then. It's a comfortable looking opener for Petrie.
Yeah, Brennan also had phenomenal prep coming into this. Marcellus sees him off the platform. Kevin Paul, 295.
Into the 105s now, the first of the 3 105s I believe we are to see in this flight. Last competed in December. Only competing since 2020, so just about 5 years in now.
Quick and snappy.
Extremely comfortable. A good lift, 3 white lights.
Dominic Fuqua now, 300 kilos even. Hands off the headphones to Coach Steve Denovi and Dominic.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, big top 3 pushing each other. Should there be any big mistakes, Dominic is right there underneath them.
Dom is definitely a threat for the podium. He just needs his chance. While he awaits his chance, he's got to do his job, go 3 for 3 in the squats, and that's a high bar squat again, Amelia. You don't see that very often. That's very high. I don't know if he's just struggling to get that past his traps or not.
Nice controlled tempo squat there.
Very controlled.
And that is lovely. Being only 22.5 kilos below his best, and your opener moving like that, we know these lifters tend to take slightly bigger jumps now in the 93s. And he looks very, very serious. He's ready for a big day ahead of him, trying to push those top 3 as best he can.
315 being loaded now for Gavin Aiden. Gavin knows a thing or two about squatting, broke the world record squat. We all know the story about Gavin. If he can go 3 for 3, he's a major threat. He held the world record total at the North American Championship. It's in the squat event that he's going to make a statement.
We've seen him do 341 before. He's a 2-time IPF Open World competitor, 2-time Sheffield competitor.
Multiple-time worlds. He's a junior world champion.
First 93 to cross 900. A lot of accolades under his belt as well.
Depth looks good. Whoa. Wow. Depth looks good on Gavin Aiden. 3 white lights. And here's something else. Gavin, whom last year missed weight and had to lift as a guest lifter, is the lightest of the big 3. Also has lot number advantage amongst the big 3. A lot of check marks in Gavin's favor.
Yeah.
And if you like squatting, Jamar Royster up next, 330.
Yeah, 330 is a huge opening intent. We've seen Jamar hit 357.5. Absolutely incredible, above, I believe, the world record squat. He said to me he's here to have fun, squat something big. Let's see how 330 moves.
Yeah, I believe it. Jamar, pound for pound, one of the greatest squatters in the world today. If he can make it onto a national team after this, expect him to own that squat world record. Easy work.
And there it is. You've got to expect at least 20 plus kilos can go on top of that.
You know, we all remember first, Jamar was the first 83 kilo lifter to squat 700 pounds. I remember it was between him and Russell Orhe. They had a bit of a race to 700. And we're gonna move until the 105s as Anthony McNaughton will open up with 330 himself.
Yeah, another huge squatter, the PR of 365, two-time junior national champion, placed second at Junior Worlds in 2022. He's hit 955 total before. Very strong young man.
Easy work there. Wow, that was fast and snappy. Like sitting up out of a chair.
Yeah, incredible. Moving 330 like absolutely empty bar.
And Kyle DeLeon, 287.5. So we missed 275 pretty dramatically as well. Not sure what happened there. It appeared as though he might have been injured. Moved up to 287.5. I'm assuming everything's okay. You missed the first one. I can't even say on a technicality. I have no idea what happened. Very bold of him to move up, though.
Yeah, especially in the way that he did miss, you know, tipped backwards and then fell onto his knees. Quite a tough fail to experience. So I'm hoping this is a good move for him. He's going to know himself better than anyone else.
Yeah, I bet the spotters are a stitch concerned. They're going to play this one tight. They made some good catches so far at this national championships.
World's better, and I can't say what went wrong on his opener, but it went right on his second.
I would say World's better for sure, considering how the first one finished.
Yeah.
3 white lights, moved up in weight. Look at fortune favors the bold, and that was a bold move.
Yeah, it certainly was bold. He's on the board. He can continue to add kilos to that squat now and hopefully stay on his feet doing so.
Meach, 297.5, and he's got a monster deadlift on him. For the first 6 lifts, expect him to try to go 6 for 6 and build up that subtotal and come deadlifts. If anybody's made mistakes, he's going to load up and he's going to try to take your placing.
Yeah, and this is a 20 kilo jump, not a small jump, not a small squat. He's matching his squat PR here, so not just pacing to get to deadlifts, really pushing those PRs up, I imagine, if he can. Wow.
Easy work again, despite a 20 kilo jump. And this is where, when somebody's taking 20 kilo jumps like that, if you're going off of just openers, it can really deceive you. And even in the forecasted projected totals, it takes your finished lifts as well as the openers for bench squat.
Yeah.
If somebody likes big jumps, throw that out the window.
It's just too early to tell at this point. Like you said, across the board, we're going to see big jumps, and I'm sure a lot will change moving forwards.
302.5 for Trey.
Extremely comfortable. Making light work of a 12.5 kilo jump for Trey.
Our next weight, 672.
3 white lights, and up next, Jonathan Kaiko. Jonathan looks like he's getting a little bit of life into his legs, taking the second attempt a little more seriously, 305.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. Already looking to match his PR on his second attempt, and, you know, by no means a new lifter, so to be doing this as such a weathered lifter already is absolutely incredible. That year out seems to have done him very well should this move like a second attempt.
Yeah, Jonathan had taken a step back after the previous Sheffield, not just the last one this year, but the one the year before. Allowed some old injuries to heal, and that step back let him get a bit of a running start. Let's see how this goes.
little bit of a wobble, but still moving at a pretty decent speed for a second. And very good speed for a match PR. 2-to-1, a good lift.
It was work. I'm suspecting maybe 5 kilos on top of that. They do want him to get every single kilo possible.
Yeah, this isn't the place to be pushing too much and risk missing, especially heading into the bench where he does carry a large advantage.
Brendan Jones, 310 kilos, 20 kilo jump for him.
Yeah, and based on his opener, completely justified. Landing just 10 kilos below that personal best. And at such a young age, still very, very accomplished lifter.
Oh!
He sinks it and he hits the hole a little bit hard, but
yeah,
even with that, moves it super well.
He's so sturdy, built the squat, but it gave me, the way he hit the hole, it was fast. It was sudden at the bottom, but he bounced out really quickly. Never lost poise, never lost any of that inner core tension, and 312.5 for Brendan Petrie. Defending his title, holding his ground. This is a sizable 17.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, very sizable indeed, and Petrie's really looking to go 6 for 6. He has the biggest deadlift out of the top 3.
Oh, a little sticky as well. So Brendan, successful. We'll wait for the lights to make it official. There it is. But both him and Kaiko, and I think he just gave 5 kilos. And I think both him and Kaiko are on the same path there. They're both at a little bit of a difficult second attempt, and I think they're both jumping up 5 kilos.
Yeah, and I think it's a smart move. Like we said, you don't want to push too much at this point and fall off and miss any lifts, especially when it really is such a tight battle.
Dom Fuqua, 320, 20 kilo jump. In battles it's close, as Matt Gary says, and he's the greatest game day handler we have. You gotta hit your lifts. It's the person who goes 9 for 9 that usually wins. Very controlled.
Yeah, same amount of control on his opener, still so easy, and just 2.5 under his best, just shows how strong he is, but...
Depth though. So from the front, which is the view we had, it looked good, but the 2 side refs get a different view on it.
And the question, Ryan, now, since he is trying to push that podium, does he go up anyway, or does he retake it? Isn't a strength issue.
It's if he's going to try to pace for a possible podium, if he's going to threaten like that, you go up. You have your opening squat for safety. He's not here for a PR total.
Yeah.
I got to think he's here for a possible medal.
I've got to agree with you there.
Kevin Paul, 322.5. If he retook the weight, though, I wouldn't be mad at that.
A nice looking second attempt there for Kevin, and it's a good lift.
Gavin Aiden, 341.5, and Gavin loading up the national record.
He's, looking for the chip here amongst the top 3. However, it's important to acknowledge Jamal Royster will be coming after him and looking for that chip as well. And if Gavin can't match the record that Jamal may be setting, then he might lose that chip.
Gavin being coached by John Song. I see Ray handling him right now. He might lose the chip, however, he'll gain the chip towards his total right now. And on this third, of course, depending where the record is, if it's out of reach, takes a normal jump. But it kind of hedges your bet if you, for whatever reason, missed your third. There is a chip there on your second, so it's
Yeah, it's a big jump, 315, 341.5, but his opener was really quite easy.
Gavin does these kind of jumps. He's an all or nothing type of lifter, which makes him very exciting.
For a new national record of 341.5 for Gavin Aiden.
And Gavin locks out 341.5 with 3 white lights. Take a look at this replay. Gavin is on point today, and this is big trouble for the others. And if we're comparing amongst the big three, that might have been the smoothest of the second attempts.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Depends how much of a grind we think Gavin has, but he's going to gain a lot of ground here.
Jamar Royster, 351 kilos. Jamar, absolute top tier squatter.
Gavin having just broken the national record moments ago. Jamar Royster looking to extend that now to 351, a 21 kilo jump from his opener, which based on how it moved is more than reasonable.
It's not often you see somebody squatting after Gavin in the same weight class, but it's not often you're going to see a squatter like Jamar Royster.
No, absolutely not. And this is still 6.5 kilos below his best squat, so it's a number he's done before, probably on multiple occasions.
Let's hear it.
Oh, something happened there.
Yeah, it seemed like the bar just rolled up his back. It didn't seem like it was a strength issue, and hopefully, yeah, and I think he said that there to Marcellus. Just as he came out, a lot of power, so his hips chopped back a tiny bit, rolling the bar up his back, and with that much weight, it is too hard to get out of that position. So Gavin keeps the record as it stands, and Jamar would look to retake that on his third.
360 for Anthony McNaughton. Anthony looking to secure that 105 kilo national title as well as his ticket to Germany.
Yeah, we saw Keenan Lee put up a big total earlier, of course. Anthony can see what he needs to chase here. Very comfortable second attempt, just 5 kilos below his best. Let's wait for the lights. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights.
Anthony is on point. I'll tell you what, 958 kilos is definitely in reach for Anthony, and he looks strong. Kyle DeLeon, 297.5. You know, somewhere Keenan Lee is paying very close attention to this live stream. Back to the 93s we go. Final round of squats.
Yeah, just had that tough fail on his opener. Not too sure what went wrong, but whatever it was, he fixed it for a second, looking to jump another 10 kilos here.
Yeah, whatever adjustments he needed to do served him well in the second. Oh, depth was nice there, and in his third. What a rebound for Kyle.
And that is a good lift, 3 white lights, and that's how you adapt and overcome on the day.
Doesn't back down, ends up possibly the same number he always wanted. And Jonathan Keiko, 310 now. We thought 5 kilo jump would be prudent. It's a 5 kilo personal best. I've seen him hit heavier than this in prep. I think it should be there.
Yeah, the second was a little tough, but 5 kilos for a veteran like Jonathan is not a crazy ask. We've seen him push through some difficult squats before, looking for a PR in his third. And they're going to have to keep pushing their bests, all 3 of them, in order to end up on top today.
I love when somebody who's made it a national team wears that singlet onto the platform and lets everybody know and reminds them. And by the way, when Jonathan did, he won gold. Whoa,
There we go.
fight!
Like we said, if anyone can someone as decorated as Jonathan Cairn. 2-1, a good lift. And I think that was the right call, Ryan.
Absolutely, and Jonathan, like he says, let's fight, loads up 310 and does just that. All pressure now on the other 93s. Is the king back? 310 for Meech.
Matched his personal best on his second, so already with his 12.5 kilo jump would be a big push up from that should he make it. Another lifter looking to potentially push those top three should they make any mistakes with Dominic.
Whoa, talk about a fight for Meech. 310 it is.
What a grind. Absolutely phenomenal third attempt and a good lift. 3 white lights.
He's a scrappy kid. He's got a monster deadlift. I told you he's somebody you got to pay attention to. He's still growing into the 93. He's very tall for this weight class. He's only getting started. Trey, 312.5. Having quite the squat session here, Amelia.
Yeah, we are indeed. And as we've seen the whole championship so far, record after record, absolute treats in every session, and this is no different.
Whoa, nice catch by the spotters and loaders who've done an excellent job all week.
Yeah, I think he just tipped back onto his heels a little bit there. It was difficult, and you know, whether he could have got through that grind anyway, but I think the balance was the first issue he came across.
317.5 for Brendan Petrie. I've seen him do more, but you gotta eat the food that's available on the day, and Brendan knows you gotta go 3 for 3. Keiko has.
Yeah.
He's got to keep pace.
And with as big a pull as Brandon has, he's not going to want to empty the tank if possible, but he's going to want to get as many kilos as he can. 5 kilos seems like a smart decision here, particularly with Gavin to follow with that chip. Can he gain the extra 5 kilos? It looks like it. Let's wait for the lights. And he can. 3 white lights, a good lift, and another 3 for 3 for the top 3 there.
I'm going to be honest. If he had moved his second attempt as convincing as that, they might have loaded 320, but I think they did the right call based off of how his second attempt moved.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
When you're the handler, you got to convince them. Brendan Jones, 325. Tell me he's not fired up.
Looking for a PR here on his third, continuing to progress. A huge final attempt from Brandon.
The junior star making a statement in the open.
Attempt from Brandon.
And it's good. Brandon makes easy work of 325.
And when I say every seat is filled and there's not much standing room either in this room.
No, it is packed. This is a heavily anticipated showdown in the 93s, and everybody wants to know, who is Team USA going to be sending? 325 for Dom Fuqua.
Yeah, and as we thought, he did decide to go up. Probably not as much as they would have wanted, so a happy middle ground, which I think is a smart decision. Still over his PR, but just a little over his second, which he got called in depth for.
He could use this squat right now. 25 more kilos towards his total. A lot can change for him in one attempt.
And it's still strong as you expect it to be.
It's Got to be depth. It is this time. 3 white lights for Dom.
And that style helps him keep control of the bar, but hurts him in the fact that he's in that hole for such a slow period of time that the referees can really see depth.
Yeah, they could scrutinize if they need to. Kevin Paul, 332.5. Nice fight on Kevin Paul.
And that is a good lift, 3 white lights. Just 3 squats remaining, and man, oh man, are they big.
346.5 for Gavin Aiden. Gavin taking the national record with 341.5 in a second, and he looks a lot more fired up for this one. Whoa! Get out of his way and get him to the bar.
Yeah, and benefits from Jamar not getting that second attempt, looking to keep the chip, which will help him. He'll have weight on his side, a lot on his side, and a chip at this rate.
Yeah, the way things played out, if Jamar had taken that record, the chip wouldn't have been available at this kind of weight. Things are really playing into Gavin's favor. Could it be his day? Going 3 for 3 will certainly help. Oh, wow! Definitely locked it out. We always wait with bated breath.
Yeah.
2-1. However,
Gets called on depth. His coach does go to the jury. We'll have a look at that again in the replay. See, that is the exact same jump that we saw Keiko and Petrie make and get on their third.
they're having a conversation. We'll let you know. The jury is reviewing that squat right now. And Jamar Royster, 351 being retaken, missed it on his second. Something happened at the bottom of that squat. Looked like the bar might have moved on him. He'll have another opportunity in a potential national record.
Yeah, regardless if Gavin's gets turned over or not, if Jamar gets this, he will walk away with the national record. 351 is a number that he's done before. He just needs to hit depth here. The issue in the second, of course, being that his hips shot up a little bit, the bar rolled up his back. He just kind of lost his position, and I can't imagine it's a strength issue for Jamar.
I've seen him squat much, much more than this. However, you got to do it on the platform under these conditions. I think if he makes a couple adjustments, he could do this. He'll have the opportunity as the jury's still deliberating over Gavin.
Yeah, we can see them being held there, Jamar and Marcellus, before that big final squat. The second to last lifter to come out, only Anthony McNaughton to follow.
The penultimate.
My favorite word, yeah, the penultimate. I teach you something.
You've been keeping it in your pocket
I know.
this whole championship.
There's still a day left, you know. It'll come out.
You had the opportunity, and
But now you've said it, it's out the bag.
it's out the bag. Let's get it out there. 351. And right behind Jamar, of course, is Anthony McNaughton.
Yeah, and, you know, it's giving Jamar a little bit of extra time to rest. Hopefully doesn't knock him off his game too much. Just discussing that second attempt once more. He just rolled up his back, and I think what we've just heard is Gavin Aiden's squat has been overturned to a good lift.
My goodness!
He gets that extra 5 kilos, which he's going to need in that big dog fight with Petrie and Keiko.
Oh, wow. You know, that changes everything in a battle of the big three.
It certainly does. And so that's a new national record for Gavin Aiden. He holds it currently, but Jamar Royster looking to come out now, retake 351, and take that national record for himself.
Yeah, the crowd responded with cheers when Gavin got that overturn. Always contentious. Jamar, 351. If I had to bet, I think he's going to make the correction to make this happen. That's surprising.
Yeah, I am surprised to see that. Not here today, but something that we know will be there in his future. He's squat more than that before. There's still a long day left to go for Jamar. Unfortunately, not there today.
Anthony McNaughton now, 365, 804 pounds, absolutely monstrous. Third and final squat for that young man.
Bar is loaded for Anthony McNaughton.
A world of talent walking onto the platform. He's fired up.
He knows the total he needs to beat to walk away national champion.
The sides of his back looks like the screen behind him with his name on it. This guy has built the squat. Oh,
It did not slow down.
yeah, with authority, hits that third squat. And Anthony is on fire today. Somewhere, Keenan Lee is watching with bated breath. And with that, we will take a short break and return with the women's 76 kilo bench press. Amelia, we saw some excellent squatting here earlier amongst the ladies in the 76 kilo class. Krenin going 3 for 3, establishing herself. She came in as a favorite, retaining that momentum. And then, of course, in the 93s, we had the big three, always contentious when Gavin Aiden's in the mix. We saw the national record get taken on his second attempt. A little bit of back and forth amongst the refs and the jury, but overall ends up going 3 for 3, as well as Kaiko, excellent scrap by him on his third, and Brendan Petrie going 3 for 3.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal squat session. We know it's going to be a tight battle, particularly in the 93s. We expect to see some huge lifts from both the women and the men in bench, with big hitters such as Karinen on her bench. We've got Jasmine, as well as obviously world record holder Jonathan Kaiko coming up.
Yeah, if you like bench press, you're going to love Jonathan Kaiko. It's a very reliable weapon for him. But first, we'll take a look at the 76s as Elise will kick us off with 62.5.
Yeah, not hoping to see too much drama here in the open bench. Should be nice, easy openers. Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Although, every now and then somebody flies a little bit too close to the sun, or a technicality occurs, and things get interesting.
Well, bench press being probably the most technical, no, I'll say the most technical of the three lifts, the most commands, the most things that can go wrong. You know, it is so important that your opener is something you're comfortable with. If you have to do it 3 times, and we've seen it a few times that is the case, that you can adapt it, that it's light enough for you to do so, but also heavy enough that you can pace yourself with jumps that you can handle.
75 kilos for Amber. Went 3 for 3 in the squat.
Yeah, hit a PR on squat, opening pretty close to her current bench PR. 80 kilos, so placing herself well for a big total PR. Nice and easy.
Nice, smooth and easy. 3 white lights for her. 80 kilos now being loaded for Samantha Terry. Samantha had a bit of a shaky squat event. Hit her opener. Left her second attempt squat. Looking like she might be injured. Returned for her third nevertheless, but missed it. Looking to leave that behind her, moving into the bench press. And that's the difficulty sometimes. You have a tough event, but we got 3 events. You got to leave it in the past and move forward. No doubt on bench depth, Amelia.
Yeah, none at all there for Samantha. It was a good lift, 3 white lights. And of course, when we're referring to, she just get a yellow from the side referee, usually from the side, that'd be for a lifting of the feet, butt or head, usually the butt. Elbow depth, we're looking for your elbow to be parallel or below the mid of your shoulder joint. If we come across that, we'll be sure to explain that further.
85 kilos for Lauren Wright.
Opening on her current PR.
As a reminder, lifters are fighting for world.
And I'd imagine a lot of progress in training. If not, this is a bit of a risky move.
Trying to punch their ticket.
Yeah, wow. Handled 85 kilos well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, 2-1 in no lift. A depth call, as we just spoke about, from the center referee, and from the side referee, a yellow, which could be for skipping the command. It could be a lift.
Interesting. Yeah, from that view, we couldn't see a butt lift. I certainly didn't see anything with her feet. She'll probably retake that weight. It moved well. It wasn't a weight issue. It's a technicality. Danielle Lamarca, sorry. Easy opening attempt for her.
That is a perfect attempt. 3 white lights. Our next weight, 203 pounds, is low
92.5.
for Sarah Ulrich.
Sarah Ulrich.
Opening just 2.5 kilos below her personal best.
Sarah also didn't have the squat event she wanted. Move forward with just her opener. Has the opportunity to get the pathway set, throw a little bit more green on the scoreboard. Now, considering that was so close to her PR, made relatively easy work of it.
Celebrates it nonetheless, with a lot of lifters have been affected by the bench depth rule at a national competition, and you do wait with bated breath until you get that first bench in.
Lauren Lacey, 95 kilos for her opening bench.
Lacey with a personal best of 102.5.
Another smooth opening bench, 2-1. Yeah, you know what? I gotta hesitate by saying that because getting ahead of myself, there is infractions
Yeah.
the refs are picking up on that I'm not.
Another depth call there. That's what we usually would see. If it's a red from the center referee, it would have been for depth.
Rachel Mulumba, 102.5.
PR of 112.5, a big bencher.
Could definitely see a pathway, 5 kilos each jump. There will be no depth call.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable opening attempt. No issues there, or you'd hope not to see.
3 white lights.
231 pounds for Emily Joel.
Emily Joel, 105 for her opening bench.
Actually placed second at bench Nats in February. Again, still the energy is super high.
Yeah.
She cannot be contained. You don't normally see a lifter's energy the lowest when they're lifting.
Jessica Kinney, 115.
Yeah, it has a match PR of 120 with Creenan. Creenan opening just after her, slightly heavier.
Jessica and Rebecca battling for podium. Rebecca, I believe, lifted earlier today.
The lift is good.
115 is good.
Our next weight, 200.
Yeah, of course, they can see what that total is.
So having said that, if they're this close with Jessica not finishing her other lifts, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it bodes well for her to make the podium. Cranen Warford, 117.5.
Yeah, and her bench has really blown up recently during her training. 117.5 should be more than comfortable for her if it's anything going off of her squat opener as well.
Previous platform best, 120. But I agree, I think her top end strength is well beyond that at this point.
Yeah, I certainly would be surprised if she benched anything less than her PR.
And now it's easy. I mean, there's no way she's 2.5 kilos below her PR anymore.
No, it is well beyond that. 2-1, a good lift. It's a yellow call there. Not something to worry about right now. Jury don't seem bothered, but something for maybe the coach to keep an eye on.
And that would have been foot, but something like that came off. Some kind of contact was no longer made, at least by the view of one of the refs. 122.5 for Jasmine C.
Jasmine has a huge PR of 132.5, by far the biggest from what we know in the flight. Wow.
That was smooth.
Yeah, and it seems like she's got well more than 10 kilos in that.
Yeah, one would think. Same ref called for another yellow on that same angle in at least 67.5.
Yeah, all bar one of the lifters managing to get their opening bench in.
That was smooth. 5 kilo jump, handles it well. 3 white lights.
Our next weight, 176 pounds. Our lifter is Amber Trejo.
Amber, 80 kilos on the bar for her, 5 kilo jump.
Yeah, as suspected, looking to match her PR here in her second attempt. And you expect to see this a lot with lifters who haven't been competing for too long, new since 2024. Still very comfortable for her, matching her PR very easily on her second attempt.
We move up to 187.
3 white lights, and Samantha Terry up next. 85 kilos for her, 5 kilo jump. Samantha looking to rebound from a shaky squat event. Going 2 for 2 will help that in the bench.
It's tough, but she pushes it through very smoothly. She nods, actually, which is a bit rare, more rare in bench, as she locks it out. And I just want to, yeah, she got a yellow, actually, for that nodding of the head. I think the side referee saying, your head came off when you nodded.
You need head contact, butt contact, feet can't come up. Exactly, she got away with that one. But
Perhaps no more nodding.
perhaps no more nodding. 85 kilos, Lauren Wright misses on her opener, retaking it now. This wasn't a strength issue the first time.
No, she got a yellow and a red. One for depth and one we assume for lifting. Looks better this time round.
That is the perfect attempt. 3 white lights.
There we go.
Judges agree with you. 3 white lights and she's good. 95 kilos now for Danielle Lamarca. 5 kilo jump for her. Two and a half kilos below her personal best.
Yeah, and maybe pacing for that 100 kilos on the platform today. Of course, bench does drop off quite quickly, so we'll see the jump her and her coach decide to make today.
If you were her coach and she asked for it,
It's tough because she is, you know, on nominations just behind Rachel Malumba, who's going to be pushing for podium if she can. It's worth the extra kilos if she can get them.
are you a believer, Amelia?
I believe it's an option.
Work with me. 97.5 for Sarah.
Yeah, it's a nice looking second attempt. And look, it's not the safe option. I think it's an option that she can do,
right,
but it'll be
We
hard.
moved on.
No,
We moved on.
No, you're dragging us.
60
You're dragging us
seconds.
up. Sometimes I have to think.
Lauren Acey, 102.5. Sizable 7.5 kilo jump for Lauren. This is going to match her personal best.
Yeah, very sturdy looking second attempt there for Lauren.
Bench is a tough one. The end comes near very, very quickly. Everything's fine, and then the wheels fall off. Very difficult to call. 110 for Rachel.
Again, another lifter getting very close to their PR on their second attempt. Just 2.5 kilos below. Taking a moment to explain to the spotter how she'd like her handout given.
And that's important.
Yeah, especially if you're particular with it, it's worth the extra few seconds it takes. Still very, very comfortable. A good lift, 3 white lights.
Earned the right for a PR attempt, I'm sure. Emily, 112.5.
I'm sure we'll see her energetically bounce onto the platform. There we are. Looking for a match PR here on her second. Yeah, centre referee just saying she needs to have her hair up for the bench, I think. Or at least have it on the bench. I'm not too sure. Yeah, maybe not. I thought that's what the request would have been.
The other ladies were having their hair down like that, though.
But some of them have been told to have it up.
Whoa. Whoa.
I don't know if I saw it dip, you know. It's a tough gig. Oh, unfortunately, yeah, 2-1. We'll have a look at that again in the replay. The blues would be for the bar going down. It definitely stops.
You know, it's difficult because it moved forward when it paused, which might look like a down up. It might have been a down up. We weren't close.
Yeah, the jury do agree with the blues, however, so it will remain a no lift.
Fair enough. Jessica Kinney, 120. 5 kilo jump.
Still very, very comfortable in terms of strength. And it's a good lift, 3 white lights. Pacing herself very well, collecting as many kilos as she can on this bench press session.
Jasmine, 122.5.
No, this is I think
Nope,
it's
Cranian Warford, sorry, I saw Jasmine.
I think they also thought she was potentially out next, but 5 kilo jump here for Cranian. This will be a PR on the platform by 2.5 kilos.
Handled 117.5. Well, 5 kilos sounds good to me.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. It was a very comfortable opener.
Wow, that moved like a second attempt should, despite being a PR. And bench has been going very, very well, young lady. So if she held back 2.5 kilos from her previous personal best on squat, but is moving this far ahead on bench, let's see what she does on deadlifts. We know previously 585 were PR total. Might she be closer to 600? it's a possibility still.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I think pacing herself, like you said, to go 6 for 6 heading into deadlift. Not worrying about much else at this point except building a healthy lead where she can.
And this is a national record attempt by Jasmine C.
This will, of course, give Jasmine the chip, which will definitely benefit her after losing out on her second and third squats. Her opener was extremely comfortable.
Wow. Handled that with ease. And all is forgotten in the squat event. All ancient history at this point when you leave the next event with a national record, and that's what you do. Jasmine showing the poise of a veteran.
Yeah, not just leaving it with a record, but on your second, giving yourself an opportunity to push that even further on the third.
At least 72.5. Oh, the brakes came on.
Yeah, just not there today, unfortunately. Perhaps where a 2.5 kilo jump would have been well utilized, but easy enough to say after the fact.
We have that benefit sitting where we are, Amelia. 85 kilos for Amber.
Already matched her PR on her second, looking to extend that 5 kilos.
Wow, you know what? Might have had another 2.5 in her. Of course, 20/20 hindsight. Played safe, grab your kilos. But that was very smooth pressing.
Yeah, it was very, very comfortable. And actually, similar to her third squat, it wasn't a limit lift by any means, but setting herself up well for deadlifts.
Lauren Wright up next, 87.5.
Looking for a 2.5 kilo PR here. Just missed our opener on elbow depth, as well as a yellow from the side referee. Got it on her second with 3 white lights. Let's hope she can maintain that here on her third for a PR.
Nicely done. You know, I was wondering, because 85 kilos was her opening weight, retook it twice. Do you have an option? Take a big jump, land where you thought you were going to be for your third, or make an adjustment. They went up just 2.5 kilos and looked like the appropriate path. Samantha Terry, 90 kilos.
Yeah, I think on squats and deadlift you can play around with that a little bit more, but when it comes to bench you have to take, I think, the planned jump in most cases from first to second. Bigger jumps can really make a huge difference when it comes to bench press.
Nope, calls it off at the chest.
I was a little surprised to see 5 kilos go on after her second attempt. It was a little tough.
100 kilos even for Sarah. Is this the first time for her hitting the triple digits, Amelia?
Yeah, it is indeed, and we did discuss whether she would go for that. It's a 5 kilo PR.
Joining the 100 kilo club.
With her and Danielle looking for this number today.
Oh, slow and steady.
Great fight.
2-1, it's good.
We remain at 220.
Now, none of the elbow depth calls we've seen so far have been agreed on by the jury. Let's hope it remains that way.
Danielle, 100 kilos even as well.
Yeah, took that 5 kilo jump we spoke about. I think it'll be a push, but it's well within her wheelhouse based on how her first and second moved. Might be tough.
How can you not take a swing at the 3-digit wall?
It wasn't, if anything, a little better than her second.
Yeah, convincing.
Now see, if her second moved like that, I would have been less on the fence.
Well, her coach is Megan Scanlon.
Yeah, a pretty good bencher herself, I'd say.
She's got good bench advice. And Lauren Acey, 105.
Slow but steady. Seemed like a well-picked third attempt. Didn't have any real breakdown there, just slowed down.
Emily Joel up next, 112.5, missed this on her second. A little bit of confusion, now look at her hair all wrapped up.
Again, this is a match PR, should you make this. Yeah. So the hair's up, but still getting called about something from the center referee there.
She's the only one who was asked to put her hair up.
Now I believe Keenan also put her hair up. So she manages to bully it through, but I'm a little worried about that dip, Brian.
Me too.
We go to 253 for Rachel Mulumba.
Rachel Mulumba with 115, 5 kilo jump, one telling moved well.
Yeah, and as expected, looking for a PR here of 2.5 kilos. Hit a 10 kilo PR in her opener, in her squat, sorry. 2.5 kilo here, should she make this.
I was gonna say, if 102 was a 10 kilo PR, my goodness. Bench prep went well for this meet.
Went up a little bit wonky, but that is no matter as long as it's a good lift, and it is. 3 white lights.
Yeah, Joey Flex mimicking the pathway, saying a little wonky, but we got there. Jessica Kinney, 122.5.
Yeah, again, another athlete looking for a PR here on their third and final attempt at bench press. Just 3 minutes remaining before we head through to the men.
And these are some big final 3 benches.
And the lift for Jessica is good.
3 white lights.
Yeah, nice ascent there from Jessica.
Very high success rate on the third and final round of benching by the ladies so far. And Crane and Warford, 127.5. Considering coming in, 120 was her platform best.
Yeah, like we said, didn't quite hit a PR, just under it on her squats. Now looking to extend her PR by 7.5 kilos on the day. It's just the bar.
Yeah, Crane does have her hair adjusted as well.
And it's tough, but she continues to push through it.
Oh my goodness, we're almost there. Can she lock out that stubborn right elbow?
Unfortunately, not quite there, and
Just.
quite unexpected to see Karina make a miss, but she's still in a strong position heading into deadlift. She has a monstrous deadlift on her, but this is going to help Jasmine a lot should she make this.
134 for Jasmine. Broke the national record on her second attempt, looking to break the national record on her third.
This is a huge bench press. As you said, already has broken the national record, looking to extend that to 134. Not just a national record, PR, and certainly helps her build a big subtotal after missing a couple of squats there, heading into deadlift.
Who thinks she's going to knock off this record? Somebody clap their hands, come on. Give it up
The
for
crowd rallying behind her as she attempts to make history. Ooh, nice catch by the spotters. Nevertheless, still broke the national record and holds it from her second attempt.
We move on to the men's division of Primetime. Trey Ricardo will be the lifter.
As we move directly into the men's 93 kilo category. 175, Trey will kick us off.
Bar is loaded for Trey Ricardo.
A look at the standings so far. Cranen, sizable lead. Jasmine, comfortably in second place.
Jessica Kinney slowly building up onto that podium, looking to chase the lifter from earlier today.
Three white lights in 182.5 now being loaded for Kevin Paul in the 105 kilo class.
All three lifters in the 105 class, all 200 and up benches.
As I take a peek into the crowd, I see none other than Rondell Hunt, heavily anticipated debut in Powerlifting America tomorrow. I don't want to miss that.
Nice opener there for Kevin. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Meech up next. 187.5 for his opener. Huge fight in his third squat. Asked him about it between the squat and bench press. He said, I had no other choice. The other 93s weren't missing. Look at the length of those arms, Amelia. Those are deadlift arms.
Yeah, they absolutely are. He has a huge pull on him. I think even the biggest in the flight. Wow.
Yeah, he's conserving energy for a second and third, I can only assume.
Yeah, traveled a long way, but it traveled there quickly. And with a bigger deadlift PR than Brandon Petrie, that says quite a lot.
190 for Jamar Royster.
Jamar opening just 7.5 kilos below his best bench. Very comfortable looking opener for Jamal.
Brandon Petrie up next, 197.5. Taking a look at the forecast here. Jordan had competed earlier.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, Brandon with a big pull on him, bigger than both Gavin and Jonathan. Wants to collect as many kilos as possible as he can in the bench press. By no means a small bench press on him though.
Yeah, Brandon, it's either between him and Meach to have the biggest deadlift of the 93s.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights. Like I said, lots of big benches in this flight, but a tough gig when you're up against Jonathan Kaiko for numbers.
Well, you have big benchers, and then you have Jonathan Kaiko. Brennan Jones, 200 kilos even in the 93 kilo class.
And again, just 10 kilos below his best, so should this move well, I would more than expect him to surpass that by a fair few kilos throughout this session.
Brandon, junior star for Team USA.
Yeah, came second at Junior Worlds last year. Wow, that's
Easy
speedy.
work, yeah.
Brandon, what's up? That looked like a 710. Taking up to 446 per WQI. Bar is loaded.
Dom Fuqua, 202.5.
Another big bencher with a PR of 220 kilos. So you'd think this is a nice conservative opening attempt for Fuqua.
Smooth opener for him.
Yeah, as expected, it's a good lift, 3 white lights.
Gavin Aiden, 205 kilos for his opening bench. Gavin, he's got a big bench press on him.
Yeah, absolutely, with a PR of 222.5, nothing to shake a stick at there.
He's worked very hard on his deadlift as well.
Yeah, of course, leaving that squat session with a new national record of 346.5 after breaking it twice. And originally didn't get that third squat, got overruled by the jury to a good lift. Everything seems to be in his favor today, weight, lot, and the jury.
The scouting report on Gavin, if he gets 3 squats in, he's a major threat. He got all 3 in, 4 for 4 so far now.
Bar is loaded. We call it Kyle DeLeon.
Kyle DeLeon, 210 for his opening bench.
Yeah, biggest bench in the 93s, second only to Jonathan Kaiko, with a PR of 230 kilos. That's not a small bench.
Benching over 500 pounds in the 93 kilo class.
I have never seen 462.
He's excited.
And I can see why, a very comfortable opener, 210 for him.
85 pounds.
And the way that moved, you can tell that he can push 230.
Bar is loaded.
Anthony McNaughton in the 105 kilo class, 220 kilos.
Ended the Scots with a huge 365 and pretty comfortable as well at that.
I see Keenan Lee in the audience watching. Nobody's watching closer.
Again, another comfortable opener there. He's on good form today. I'm going to say that.
Will be from Jonathan Kaiko.
Jonathan Kaiko up next, 232.5 kilos for his opening bench press.
Well, with a world record bench and a PR of 245.5, there's quite literally not a better bencher in the world in the 93s. Look at the amount of weight on that bar for the opening attempt.
His bench is also extremely consistent. You can make an argument he's the best bencher in the world today, especially with the consistency. It's a loyal weapon. Served him in many battles.
And you can see why.
232.5, and it moves like an opener should.
Really highlights a good lift. And you can see why he holds that world record. Classic little thumbs up from him as well after he finishes. Very serious until the lift is done.
182.5 for Trey.
Definitely slowed down, but still did not stop. There was no immediate breakdown.
And Trey opens up his second round of bench pressing.
Yeah, seems to refer to his shoulder there, saying perhaps not feeling quite as healthy as he would want to.
Likely a cautious third attempt. Kevin Paul, 195. Three white lights, it's good.
Yeah, still looking comfortable.
Jamar Royster up next, 200 kilos even. Jamar going off the handoff. Going over the handoff, or rather.
Yeah, already over his PR now. This will be the first time that Jamar's hit 200 on the platform.
Ooh, a little bit of work near the lockout.
Yeah, still a good lift, 3 white lights, but maybe not a huge jump there for his third. Ryan, what do you think?
I was just about to throw that over to you, but I would say 2.5 kilos.
I think that would be sensible. There's no need to empty the tank and risk losing kilos there if possible. It was quite near his limit, it seemed.
Meech Smith, 200 kilos. 187.5 was very easy. And judging off his squats, he could fight for his attempts if he has to. Still easy work.
Yeah, and with a match PR looking like that, he is in great form today.
Think they might load around 210 for his third attempt.
I'm not sure they'd go all the way to 210. We'll have to wait and see, but gets a PR on his squat, looking to probably get a few extra kilos on his PR on his bench. Building a big total here.
207.5 for Brendan Petrie. 10 kilo jump.
Yeah, perhaps pacing to match his PR of 215. Still moves pretty well. Slowed down a smidgen, but still pretty comfortable for him.
I was gonna say, it slows down around the lockout, fast off the chest. I think probably equaling the PR. However, He was slightly under that on his squat, and he needs the pace for something. We're anticipating a podium over 900 kilos. He's got to make up those kilos somewhere if he's not going to hit PRs, because his PR total is 895. Just trying to calculate some quick math. We'll see how it all plays out. Brennan Jones, 212.5.
Already looking for a PR of 2.5 kilos here on his second attempt. As we saw a PR on his squat as well. Wow.
Wow.
Still a junior, still progressing. Don't know where his ceiling is quite yet.
Dom, 212.5. 10 kilo jump as well.
And should he make this move comfortably, another 10 kilos would give him a PR of 2.5.
Three white lights.
79 for Gavin Aiden.
Gavin Aiden up next, 217.5.
PR of 222.5, so getting near that.
$12.5 kilo jump. Again, if Gavin's hitting PRs, it'll force the hand of Petrie and Kaiko to try to attempt the same. And he looks on pace. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a quick press command, and when you get it stationary in chest, it can be. I think that's very much the case. You know, we've seen Gavin with the chip on squat. I imagine we'll see Kaiko with the chip on bench, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Petrie get a chip on deadlift. So they may become redundant. We'll have to see.
It becomes, can you imagine?
I know. Absolutely incredible how strong all three are in the individual disciplines.
Kyle DeLeon, 225. I've seen Gavin with a chip on the shoulder as well. 15 kilo jump for Kyle.
Wow, a considerable jump in the bench press. As I said, a PR of 230. The 210 was lightning fast. 15 kilos doesn't seem too crazy based on that, but it doesn't change the fact it's a big jump. See how he handles it. Goodness. Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, he has a big bench on him, and accepting that 15 kilo jump. 240 now for Anthony McNaughton.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll see him get that near Kaiko, but it'll be interesting to see how close to Kaiko he does get on his bench.
So Anthony has 958 as the target, and he's currently pacing for 937.5 should he hit this and get his opening dead. We're getting close.
Yeah, it's looking pretty comfortable if he carries on lifting the way he has been. And he does.
We'll get the body weight of Keenan Lee earlier because Anthony is 103.74, and that's light for a 105. He might also have body weight advantage, of course. 58 isn't a normal integer. We use, there he is, 58.5, thank you. Jonathan Kaiko, 246.
Yeah, this is for a national record, 246, and also an unofficial world record.
Kaiko's prep has been phenomenal. Hit a PR squat. Wow, with ease too, Amelia.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. His own world record of 245.5 that he got in Sheffield in 2024 has just made it move tremendously on his second attempt.
Kaiko and Gavin completely rewriting their best lifts. Where might their total be? Gavin's already broken into the 900s.
The deadlift world record belongs to Chance Mitchell at 373.5. That doesn't even, begin to mention the national record, but quite incredible. We head through to the third and final round of bench, and as I would have thought, Trey choosing to not come out for his final bench, it seems, came off holding his shoulder a little bit. So I think perhaps a good move here. Just giving his competitors an extra minute to compose themselves and rest a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the honorable thing. You can scratch if you like, but of course, all your competitors don't get that extra little rest, and they do appreciate. It's a gentlemanly thing to do, but the competitive thing would be to straight up scratch it, and I've seen that as well. I respect it both, Amelia.
Yeah, again, very much depends on the size of the flight as well and the pace of the competition, because it actually can be the sportsmanlike thing to scrap it if it's moving slow and it's a big flight.
I wouldn't. 202.5 for Jamar Royster.
Yeah, opting for that 2.5 kilo jump, which seems like the correct decision for Jamar here.
Yeah, 200 was tough.
On the money.
You know what? Yeah.
I agree. I know what you're going to say, and I agree.
What am I going to say?
Might have looked better than his second, and if he made his second look like that, they would have had it more.
Have we worked together before?
Maybe once or twice. I think maybe a little too much.
Oh, wow. 205 for Kevin Paul.
Five kilo personal best. Should he make this as a 10 kilo jump from his second to his third?
We're in the 105 kilo class. Oh, lost his footing there. You got to be careful.
Yeah, once you get that command, you want to keep your feet on the ground. They can slip, but got to keep them planted. Wow. Very quick third attempt for Kevin. Really good there. 3 white lines, a new PR.
In 210 kilos, this is what I had suspected based off of 200 kilos. I'd be comfortable with a 10 kilo jump.
Yeah, it's certainly moving well, and should he make this, it would be a 10 kilo personal best, same amount of kilos he put on top of his squat PR. Looking for a big total PR, maybe a dark horse.
Well, the talk around him, he's a threat, and a podium threat, because he could fight for his reps like you saw right there. It's a long way up. The last few inches of that lockout, it definitely slowed, but he's got deadlift arms, and he handled it well.
Yeah, as you said, deadlift arms, and that would be because he has a deadlift PR of 375.
And that's old, judging by the kilos he's added on his squat and bench. Who knows where his deadlift might be now? That's why we're saying, could he have the biggest deadlift of the field now? He'll have to out-deadlift Brendan Petrie, and speak of the devil, here he is, 212.5.
Yeah, just landing a little shy of his PR of 215, so he's going to have to pull something big to be fighting with Jonathan and Gavin there. We know he can. Definitely the right move, though.
Yeah, they're making the right call. Look, you got to take what's there on the day, and Brendan 6 for 6. He's got a huge deadlift amongst the big three.
Yeah.
He will have the last say. And if I know Brendan, he's going to load for gold.
He will absolutely load it up, and why wouldn't you?
Brendan Jones, 220.
A huge final attempt. A 10 kilo personal best should Brandon make this. 5 kilo PR on squats, looking for a 10 kilo PR on bench. What does that say towards the deadlift?
Whoa, comes up uneven, but it comes up nonetheless. Brendan Jones, huge bench press.
And he is on great form today. A PR in squat, a PR in bench. That total is looking dangerous still as a junior.
So, oh, this is Dom. 220 for him. Matching his previous personal best.
Yeah, wanting to stay as close to those podium finishes as he can. On prognosis currently in 4th. And not a million miles behind Gavin Aiden on prognosis, 1.5 kilos.
No, Dom is also a threat. Especially seeing as how he's only missed one lift, but he went up regardless. And that was in the squats.
Yeah, those kilos he just got on that final bench, should it be good, are certainly going to help, especially actually as himself and Gavin have the same deadlift PR.
Yeah, you have sleepers in this division, ready to move up. Gavin Eden, 220. Just 2.5 kilos below his previous personal best.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get this on forecasted total, he'll actually be behind Dominic.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these openers though on deadlifts, and I think you're going to see some shifting around. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I anticipate that.
Oh, nice. Powers through.
Well,
Easy 2.5 more kilos towards his total.
yeah, well executed. And in a fight like this, the 2.5 kilos is well worth taking. You know, you've got to leave that ego at the door and collect the kilos you need.
Yeah, you could be tempted sometimes. I want to match my PR. I want to hit a PR. But in the end, going 6 for 6 and not overextending and missing means a lot. Kyle DeLeon, 232.5.
Yeah, absolutely huge. This is a massive final bench press for Kyle. We know he's benched 230 before, looking for a slight PR here and a mammoth final bench.
Huge 232.5. Kyle DeLeon, a lion in the bench press event.
Just 2 benches remaining, and they are both mammoth in their own right.
Anthony McNaughton, 245 in the 105.
Be a 5 kilo PR for him. Should he make this, match his squat PR on his final attempt. Looking to beat Keenan's total.
Whoa!
And I've not seen him have to work too much quite yet.
He is pacing for a monster deadlift, and if you did your scouting, he's got a big one. Plenty of energy left over, no major grinds yet used. Could be an upset in the making. Jonathan Keiko, 252.
Already hit 246 on his second attempt for not just a national record, but an unofficial world record, beating his own by half a kilo. Looking to keep the chip and push up that subtotal another 6 kilos.
Jonathan is a monster bencher.
And starting to build a little bit of a gap between himself, Petrie, and Gavin.
Yeah, if he hits this with his opening dead, he'll be at 882 already. He is building a monster total right now.
You've got to think if that's the case, 900 doesn't seem a far cry. Wow.
Oh, whoa!
And that year off seemed to treat him well.
He had more. It's got to be said, he had more. What a day Jonathan Keiko was having.
Absolutely incredible. Well above his world record.
It's hard to wrap your head around. And what a way to end our bench press event, as we will take a short 10-minute break. Please do come back as we will see the conclusion of the 76 kilo and 93 kilo men's division. Quick peek at the standings before you leave. Keiko, Petrie, and Gavin. That's the prognosis so far, but a lot can happen in the deadlifts. And welcome back as we take a look at the ladies' 76 kilo standings. And Crane and Warford, no surprise, in a very strong and commanding lead. But take a look at the number 2, Jessica Kinney, on the prognosis, bumping up ahead of Jasmine. And of course, this assumes these ladies will get their opening deadlift, 140 for Elise.
Yeah, Cronin should all go well. Really, a gap that would be too hard for them to chase. Probably looking to fight for that silver now, I'd imagine. Nice comfortable opener there for Elise. And it's a good lift, 3 white lights.
Sarah, 160 kilos.
Bar is loaded. Hey, who's having a good time at Primetime here tonight?
With every successful opening attempt we see on deadlift, we see them secure their total. First time in the day they can really relax a little bit knowing they've got that total and build from there. Bit of a double lockout there, but moved very, very quickly.
I was going to say, it looked like it almost came up in sections.
We go up to 363 for
Amber, 165. Beginning to wonder if we'll see a bit of a shake-up between Jessica and Jasmine. Lot can happen in the deadlifts, though.
Amber already PR'd in both squat and bench, opening on 165 with a deadlift PR of 167.5. I'm sure on task to PR that and her total by a big way.
Nice opening pull.
3 white lights, a good lift, and she's going to have a pretty meaty PR total today.
165 for Emily Joel.
Just getting her shoes on, ready for the platform there. A little bit last minute, but if you're going to be late for any of the 3 attempts, let it be your opener.
Yeah.
Still shoelaces undone, ready to pull. Plenty left on the clock, really. Giving her coach a bit of a heart attack in the process. 2 to 1, a good lift.
Lauren Acey, 165 for her opening pull.
Very snappy.
Yeah. Quick, fast,
So this
easy.
is good for Lauren. And a plate, we're loaded up to 369. The bar is loaded.
Danielle up next, 167.5 for her.
Very quick off the ground.
Yeah, pops it at the top as well. Nice deadlift.
Our next weight, 374 pounds.
Samantha Terry up next, 170 kilos.
Bar is loaded for Samantha.
Has pulled 197.5 today. So this hopefully is a nice conservative opener for her. When 1 for 3 in squat, 2 for 3 in bench, and hopefully the trend continues and go 3 for 3 here in deadlift.
Samantha is on the board, solidifies her total. Lauren Wright up next, 170 stays on the bar for her.
Very close stance conventional there.
Yeah.
Not sure it could be closer if you tried.
Leaves a tight footprint.
And I'll tell you what, Lauren unfortunately didn't get her opening squat or bench, and so she was celebrating there because it was the first opening attempt she managed
Is that
to
what
get.
that relief was?
Yeah, she managed to get a second and third on both.
I was wondering why she was so happy about an opener, but there it is. Rachel, 190 for her opening pull.
Yeah, big opening pull here from Rachel.
See somebody in the crowd there with a big "Let's Go Rachel" sign.
Nice, easy opener for Rachel, very comfortable. Big good lift, 3 white lights.
Jasmine up next, 197.5 for her.
I think Cranen might have done enough to keep them fighting amongst each other. Jasmine and Jessica looking, I imagine, to fight for that silver position, separated on prognosis currently, only by 1.5 kilos. Jasmine with the slightly smaller pull in terms of openers.
Yeah, this is a very close race now. Those ladies are going to let Cranen do. Wow, you know what?
Yeah, it's a little tough, Ryan, I've got to
Oh
say.
my gosh, that was yeah. She looked a little surprised herself.
And it's a no lift. She gets blues for, I think, supporting. She just, as she got to the lockout, really pulled it up, and that's a tricky technical issue to have on your opener. What do you think?
She's pulled 220 before. This is surprising. Squat and bench don't appear to be entirely there today, obviously. Sorry, squat and deadlift, obviously bench press was. Jessica Kinney, 207.5. Very smooth in contrast, but yeah, I'm perplexed at what's going on here with Jasmine.
Yeah, and she needs to get a deadlift, of course, to secure her total as well as her national bench record and stay in the race. You know, I think there's no chance, or I don't think going up there is a smart move. I don't know what you think there, Ryan. Of course, she wants to stay in the race, but
I would keep it, to be honest, at this point. Keep in mind, if you don't get a total, those records go away as well. And at this point, 225 for Cranen Warford. At this point, I just wouldn't gamble that.
Cranen Warford would be very difficult to snatch that crown
Oh, I mean,
off her head, firmly
yeah.
planted, it seems. This is a huge opening attempt. She has a PR of 245.
I would not be surprised, depending on how this moves, if 250 ends up getting loaded.
Oh, at least I would imagine. And the thing is, I think once they know after her second that they've secured the win, and it looks like it would be hard to be taken from her anyway at this point, she has near 40 kilo lead.
Yeah.
That they can have a little bit more freedom and fun to push goals now rather than to create that gap.
That might have already secured the win, but
Yeah.
let's take a look. Elise, 150. Well, Jasmine looks like she's going to move up 5 kilos regardless. Whatever the issue was, let's hope she can make the adjustments. But first, 150. Elise taking a 10 kilo jump from her opening pull.
Still moving very comfortably. It's a good lift, 3 white lights.
172.5 for Amber.
Bar is loaded. Come on out.
Amber already having smashed her squat and bench PR, looking to extend her deadlift PR by 5 kilos already here in her second. And her total by 17.5 kilos on her second attempt. Should she make this? And
Yeah, and that was pretty smooth as well.
That is a very easy second attempt for Amber.
there's a good lift, 3 white lights, a 17.5 kilo PR on your total, on your second attempt. Quite a lot of growth there.
Sarah Ulrich, 172.5 for her second pull.
That is a perfect deadlift from Sarah. We load it up for 385 for Emily Joel.
Emily Joel, 175 for her second attempt, 10 kilo jump.
Bar is loaded.
Looking to match her PR here, this time with her shoes on and ready, coming onto the platform.
Looking good.
Little heel click there to celebrate. 2-1, a good lift.
177.5 for Danielle.
Another lifter looking for a match PR on their second attempt. This would already PR her total as well by 2.5 kilos. Should she make this?
That was snappy. 3 whites for Danielle. Lauren right now, 177.5, stays on the bar for her.
Danielle just pulled herself into fourth place.
7.5 kilo jump from her opener. Leaving her just 5 kilos under her PR. Her knees almost using each other as support to get that bar up. A very abnormal technique, works very well for her.
Samantha Terry, 180 kilos for her second attempt. $10-kilo jump.
Love the setup, Samantha. It must be working. The lift was good.
Yeah, a good-looking second attempt. About as much as you'd expect a second to move.
182.5 now awaits Lauren Acey.
Let's give her a 7.5 kilo total PR here on her second attempt. As you can see there with a 470 total.
Smooth pull for her.
And another perfect attempt. Lauren is 8.
Yeah, still very, very fast. Barely slowing down really from her opener.
46 pounds. We are ready. Bar is loaded.
Rachel Mulumba,
Mulumba.
202.5.
Into the 200s now.
Into the 200s we go, Amelia.
Rachel already on her second, looking to match her deadlift PR. And a huge total PR. currently 487.5. This would give her 505. Very, very strong second attempt from Rachel, and a good lift. Now.
Yeah. It's a dramatic second pull for Jasmine. Missed 197.5. Not entirely sure what went wrong there. This is well within her means strength-wise. 202.5 though. She's moved up 5 kilos regardless, Amelia.
Well, listen, she's jumped 5 kilos, and actually looking at the board, Jessica Kinney jumped 5 kilos from her opener to her second, so
Keeping pace.
if she can get it.
Something's going on at lockout that looks very difficult.
It was really tough, but it didn't look like it hit twice as much. And yeah, there we go. She's on the board, 3 white lights, still in the fight, but I've got to say, how much more do you think she has after that?
Not a heck of a lot more. Very quick, right until here. Very difficult that lockout for her.
Yeah, and in trying to pull that lockout through, almost rocks onto her heels. Much better than her first, though.
Jessica Kinney, 212.5.
Jasmine, the lighter of the two. But this would put Jessica 1.5 kilos ahead of Jasmine. Jasmine, of course, having the chip from her bench.
And she's a little stiff at lockout as well. They both have a bit of a sticking point at lockout.
Yeah, and we might see some playing around with their third attempts, but the question is, you know, who has more in that jump? Is it Jessica or is it Jasmine? And, you know, Jasmine's lockout was tough. Jessica's was difficult, but was it as tough? I'm not so sure. Depends the grind they have in them, and conventional is an easier position to grind from.
240 for Crane Warford. And the crowd cheers.
This is a 15 kilo jump for Cranen, would give her a 580 total, just 5 kilos below her best total. Really can't be caught. She has secured that crown with her opening attempt.
Yeah, she is very much world class. And that's smooth. That's easy. 250 is definitely there.
Absolutely, and you don't often see a slight speed wobble in a second attempt, especially with 240 kilos on the bar and edging ever so closer to that 600 kilo total, which I think will be there very, very soon for her.
At least 160 for her third and final pull, kicking us off on the third and finals.
This is also a qualifier for the North American Powerlifting Federation Championships. So as an alternate, bars loaded, they can also go to the
And into the final round of deadlifts, some huge numbers coming up here.
I like the nod of the head.
Yeah, the nod came early. And
it came early. And the finish came late, but it did.
And as enthusiastic as ever coming off the platform.
Yeah, she earned it.
Only just missing out on that final bench. A great day for Elise.
Sarah will now finish off with 180 kilos.
Bars loaded, we are ready for Sarah.
Looking for a PR deadlift here on her third and final attempt. A good finish to that final pull for Sarah.
Yep. Solid performance for her. 3 for 3 in the deads. 9 for 9, nope, excuse me. This would be Amber who's attempting to go 9 for 9. Should she hit this 182.5.
Yeah, not just 9 for 9, Ryan. She came in with a PR total of 420. This would give her 447.5 total should she hit this.
Huge day for Amber.
Unfortunately, not quite there for today, but still walks away with a 437.5 total, adding 17.5 kilos to the total she came in with.
Emily will attempt 182.5 for her final pull.
Really
Nice.
Yeah, nice looking third there, and a big PR.
How is she going to sleep tonight?
Not at all, it seems.
Samantha Terry, 187.5.
Yeah, it's a number she's pulled before. Hopefully something she can pull again. 1 for 3 in squat, 2 for 3 in bench. Can we see a 3 for 3 in deadlift?
Finishing top 10 in the nation.
Unfortunately, just a little bit too heavy today.
Still in the 10th place, still finishing top 10 in the nation. And Danielle, 187.5.
Looking for a 10 kilo PR here on her deadlift.
The lift is good.
And that is a good lift. 3 white lights, a huge deadlift PR there.
Lauren Wright, 187.5, stays on the bar for her.
Again, looking for a 5 kilo PR here on deadlift. And a 2.5 kilo PR here on total.
Very close stance there. Scraps all the way to the top, just at the lockout. And can she do it? I think.
It looks like it is from this
Give
angle
her
at the
that.
very least.
Give it that down command. Whoa.
Target weight for 129 pounds for Lauren Lacey.
195 for Lauren Acey.
Just 5 attempts remaining before we head through to the men, but huge attempts coming up.
Right here. Where my Lauren Lacey fans are. This is for a medal.
Nice pull.
That was for a deadlift and total PR.
Take the bar to 451.
Jasmine, 205. That's not Jasmine. There she is in the side. And this is going to be pivotal.
Yeah, the 205 was, sorry, the 202.5 was tough. The lockout was difficult. like we said, we thought it was near top end, and going up 2.5 kilos on your deadlift certainly shows that, but every kilo really does count here. She's going to try and pull ahead of Jessica.
From third to second.
Trying to be the runner-up. Can she do it? Somebody help her out. Clap them hands right now.
It's going to be tough. Can she pull it off today?
Whoa! Fast off the ground. Can she just lock that last inch out? Struggling mighty to do so. Oh no, it's returning to the floor. What a fight by Jasmine C. They unclasped her belt for her, and she left it on the platform. However, must be said, Jasmine, national record in the bench press, left it on the platform like the lion she is, as she gathers her senses. What a fight, thanks to crowd. Amazing performance there.
Yeah, like you said, Brian, she left absolutely every ounce of her being on that platform, and then thanked the crowd like the champion she is.
Rachel, 210.
And that does mean that Jessica Kinney holds on to that silver regardless of that final pull.
Good fight in the 76 kilo class for those medals.
That's a great final attempt from Rachel. 7.5 kilo jump.
Huge pull. Got a little wobbly for a second. Joey leaned in and checked on her. All good. Jessica Kinney, 222.5 for her final pull. There is your silver medalist in the 76 kilo class. Great day.
Already a slight smile on her face. I think she knows that silver's her, but the day's not over yet. Still 222.5 kilos on the bar for her to pull for that last time of the day.
Has an opportunity to put 10 kilos onto that total. Nice final pull.
Yeah, and that was for a 2.5 kilo PR total there. Silver medalist. And now for your national champion.
National champion and soon to be national record holder should she hit 250 kilos.
This is for a monstrous 590 kilos, 10 kilos off that magic 600, a huge total for Cranen, and in the words of Cranen herself, it's just the bar.
Judging how 240 moved, I think 250 is going up. That means more than likely a 600 kilo finisher at the next World Championships in Germany.
Yeah, just a couple of months until then. A huge final pull of the day for Cranen. 250 is no joke. Wow!
Pretty smooth too.
Let's wait for those lights. And 3 white lights, a good lift. Your 2025 national champion Cranen Warford with a huge final pull.
And Cranen is a major threat internationally. You gotta think a podium threat for sure at Worlds in Germany, representing Team USA. As we look at the standings, Cranen, Jessica, and Jasmine, your 1, 2, 3 at the US Nationals.
What a performance these ladies put up today. These are huge totals that we've seen. And another battle begins.
One battle ends, another begins. We move straight into the 93 kilo flight. Jamar Royster kicks us off with 290 kilos. Nice smooth opener.
Yeah, lovely easy opener there. Jamar. And I believe he said that on his second attempt to squat, where he had that miss, he tweaked his back a little bit.
292.5 for Brendan Jones.
Brandon having an absolutely incredible day so far. This opening deadlift would land him on 837.5. Currently has a PR total of 845. Only up from here.
That was fast.
It certainly was. 3 white lights, a good lift.
Gavin Ayton, 300 kilos even. Gavin has done a lot of work on his deadlift. I've heard murmurs of what he's accomplished in prep and not released. Let's see if it comes to the platform today. He might need it.
Yeah, looking at prognosis, currently 3.5 kilos behind Brandon Petrie, who is then a further 12 kilos behind Jonathan Kaiko. Subject to change as we head into the final 3 attempts of the day for each of these lifters.
And if you're trailing a deadlifter like Petrie, it's going to be difficult. That was fast.
It certainly was.
And here's the thing. I think Gavin opened very light and anticipate big jumps.
Yeah, Gavin is one of those lifters that does take big jumps. You know, he can deadlift into the 350s and usually opens a little bit lighter anyway. So interesting to see.
That's why the prognosis can be deceiving. Petrie might be opening a little closer to his top end than some of the others. We'll have to see how it unfolds. Kyle De Leon, 302.5. Kyle had a monstrous bench press event. That was quick.
That's a good lift. 3 white lights secures that total.
Trey will open with 310 kilos.
Yeah, made the smart decision to conserve some energy by not coming out for that third bench, and I think that was the right move.
Whoa, that was fast.
Very, very speedy indeed.
Dom, 320 kilos for his opening pull. In this flight, we will jump back and forth between the 93s and the 105s. We do have 2 105s in this lineup.
Yeah, and we've definitely spoken about the top 3 being Aiden, Petrie, and Kaiko, but definitely don't count Fuka out. He's really not so far behind those podium spots alongside Smith. And with an opener like that, he's dangerous.
Yeah, these men are solidifying those totals, and once they do, they can get a little more ambitious, take some rather big jumps, cover some ground, and then by the thirds, we're going to see some shakeups.
Yeah, and actually, again, Brandon Jones not so far behind either.
Here's Jonathan Kaiko, 320, had an absolutely phenomenal bench session.
Yeah, and should all go well on deadlifts. He has got the largest gap between himself and the rest of the competitors of currently 12 kilos.
Smooth opening pull.
And a good lift, 3 white lights. Looking very relaxed today. Opening at 320, his PR is 347.5, so wondering where that might end up today not seen him compete really at full power for a little while.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's difficult using his previous numbers when he's covered so much ground in prep. The proof is in the pudding. Kevin Paul, 320. We're in the 105s.
Makes very light work of that 320 kilos.
The lift is good.
And a good lift.
We want the 716 for Anthony McNaughton. Kevin Paul.
Anthony McNaughton, 325, and as soon as he hits this, he's already at 935. The winning total earlier, 958.5 by Keenan Lee. He's got a best 958.5 if he wants to become the U.S. national champion and earn his right to represent his nation at the World Championships. We're getting close.
And again, like his squat and his bench opener, very speedy, very comfortable, and plenty left in the tank.
If we're doing some math, I have seen Anthony pull 365.
127 pounds.
There's Meach, 330 for his opening pull.
And certainly, if anybody above him misses a lift, he has an opportunity to slip in there, and he has, as we said, got on paper the biggest PR deadlift here, 375 kilos, even larger than that of Brandon Petrie's.
And he makes big jumps from his openers.
And only one person to follow that deadlift.
Brandon Petrie, 340 kilos.
And we know deadlift is really where Petrie gets to play around a little bit. The advantage on squats to Gavin, the advantage on bench to Kaiko, but Petrie now in his element in deadlifts, opening on 340 kilos. Wow.
Oh my goodness. A lot of ground can get covered when you got a weapon like that.
Wow. And he said that his prep went well, and I suppose the proof is in the pudding. 2 lifts left to go, but 340 at that speed is...
Yeah, we're eating that pudding now, aren't we, Amelia? 305.
We have Jamal Royston now, 305, a 15-kilo jump.
305 for Jamar Royston.
You like what you see right now, ladies and gentlemen?
Adding 15 kilos to his total.
And I was going to say, he's got quite a wide grip on his deadlift, but I think just because of the size of his legs, that's really the closest he probably can get.
Brennan Jones, 312.5.
Yeah, this would land him an 857.5 total. Currently, his PR coming into this was 845. Like I said, tremendous progress from Jones. Wow.
Just a powerhouse junior, making a statement here in the open.
20-kilo jump really did not slow him down. Progressing at a scary rate.
Kyle DeLeon, 322.5. 20-kilo jump for him as well.
Had a bit of a troublesome start to the day, but since then has pulled himself back together and put together some phenomenal lifting.
There's a good lift for Kyle Gilliard. Next up, at 7:16,
Gavin Aiden, 325, 25 kilo jump for him.
Now, Ryan, was this as big of a jump as you were expecting from Gavin, or were you expecting a little bit more?
I'm not entirely sure. To tell you the truth, the numbers I heard kicking around, he must have another huge jump. But I'll keep this to myself.
Yeah, this would land him an 891.5 on his second attempt. Of course, his PR total being 901, the first 93 to go over that 900 kilo threshold.
Okay, that was fast. So when I was back there, I was told some numbers. I was told to keep it to myself. I almost slipped up there and said it to you, but 25 is, we're on our way. But he's going to have to take another big one, to be honest.
And of course has the disadvantage of he isn't going to pull last out of any of the three of them, really. And I don't have to wait. They've put it in, and it might be a placeholder. We'll have to wait and see, but he certainly won't pull after Petrie.
$332.5 for Trey.
22.5 kilo jump. Very, very snappy opener.
Snappy as well on the second.
Yeah, very, very comfortable.
Loaded up to 7:49 for Dominic Dubois.
And Dom Fuqua, 340, 20 kilo jump for him.
Yeah, there are some absolutely monstrous pullers in this flight. We are only halfway through the second round of deadlifts, already at 340.
Nice pull, another 20 kilos towards his total, and Dom, no major effort needed, pacing himself well for a big third. Jonathan Kaiko now. 340 stays on the bar for him, and this will give him a 902 total. That is a national record.
We can see there on the forecast, Gavin in with 931.5 if he gets his third, but that I believe will be a placeholder. Maybe not, but it would be a 40 kilo jump from his second. Seems a little large.
I've heard crazy things about Gavin's deadlift and ambitious ideas. Let's see how it unfolds, though.
20 kilo jump here for Kaiko, leaving him with a 902 total. 1 kilo over Gavin's PR total. Whoa. And that was an easy 900 kilo total.
And just like that, Jonathan Kaiko registers the first 900 plus kilo total of his career.
And on his second attempt at that.
Kevin Paul, 342.5. We're in the 105s. Smooth pull for Kevin. 22.5 kilos added to his total. And Anthony McNaughton up next, 350. This will put him at 960. And you know what that means, Amelia? This will make him the U.S. national champion and punch his ticket for Germany.
Yeah, of course, beating Keenan Lee's total from earlier today. 25 kilo jump here, you can see just goes above Keenan Lee's total, 958.5. By 1.5 kilos, still a lift left to go.
I've seen him pull heavier than this. Wow, that was easy. That was smooth and easy, and there you have it. There is your U.S. national champion in the 105s, heading to Germany to represent USA. Upsetting the apple cart. Demetrius Smith, 360, 30 kilo jump to his second. Meach has a huge deadlift.
The world record total in the 105s, of course, belonging to Anatoly from Ukraine at 940.5.
Anthony is a major threat once he makes his debut at IPF Worlds.
This pulls Smith into 4th place for the time being.
And there is a lot more where that came from.
Making light work of a 30 kilo jump. And talking about jumps, Ryan.
Brandon Petrie, 372.5. This will bring him to 902.5 and in 1st place.
Yeah, absolutely huge second attempt. And if this moves well, what does that say for his 3rd? This is absolutely massive. This matches his best ever deadlift. 32.5 kilo jump, as you said, pulls him into the lead ahead of both Aiden and Kaiko.
Big pull for Brennan and holds it on top as well.
That is a mighty impressive pull with 1 left in the tank, and I'm wondering, Ryan, what you could put on top of that.
I'm sure he's going to put in a placeholder and see how the other gentlemen pull, where they end up, and make his decision. 312.5 for Jamal Royster.
And that was just 1 kilo below Chance Mitchell's world record deadlift.
Petrie is a deadlifter of historic proportions.
Trying to get that locked out. Oh, unfortunately, not there today for Jamar.
We take it to 7:33 for Brandon Jones.
Not the day he wanted, I'm sure, but I still expect big things from him in the future when he can pull that day together.
Brennan Jones up next, 332.5.
This would give him an 877.5 total.
Yeah, considering he's a junior, this is a monstrous total.
It'll be a 32.5 kilo increase in the total he came in with today. Absolutely phenomenal showing from Brandon Jones, still a junior.
He's progressing so fast.
That is a phenomenal pull from Brandon. Wow.
Everybody needs to keep an eye on this young man, because next year he's gunning for the throne. Huge performance.
Yeah. Fantastic job there from Brandon Jones. Like you said, big things to come.
Kyle DeLeon, 342.5 for Kyle. Give him an 872.5 total.
bar is loaded.
It's be a huge PR on his deadlift. To leave him 8 for 9 after a shaky start to the day.
Oh, just at lockout, his hand on the right side gives out, and there's 20 kilos lost. Still had a pretty good day on his part, and 352.5 will stay on the bar for Trey.
Bar is loaded for Trey Ricard. With this deadlift, he will attempt to crack the top 10.
So bump Trey's total from 817.5 to 827.5.
Yeah, and leave him in the top 10 in the 93s, and a very stacked 93s at that.
Oh, it was fast on the way up. He got the down command.
The top 10, ladies and gentlemen. We go to 782 for Danny.
And Dom Fuqua, as we take a look at the forecast there, Kaiko, Gavin, Meech, Brandon. Now, of course, this is everybody gets their deadlifts. Meech has possibly a placeholder.
Yeah, and
Possibly.
to think that a 900 kilo total, if it all goes well for everyone else, could get you 5th, hypothetically.
There's a lot of placeholders in there, so you take that with a grain of salt. A lot of movement's going to happen. 355 for Dom.
Yeah, 15 kilo jump isn't unreasonable by any means to give him a 900 kilo total. Would you look at that?
Huge performance by Dom. 900 kilos, and again, just last year, that was the world record. That was the threshold everyone was looking to pass. And there's the man who was the first to pass it as a 93, Gavin Eden, 355. This will give him a 921.5 kilo total and move him into first place.
25 kilo jump from his first to second, looking for a 30 kilo jump from his second to third here.
Whoa, and when I was saying major movement for him, that was what I was hearing. So from 300 to 355, that's a lot of ground to cover in one event.
It's only 5 kilos over his PR. It's not an incredible ask, it's the jump. That'll do it. This will make him hard to beat.
Can he get it over his quad?
Wow, that is tough, and he lets go of it, unfortunately. And I'm sure we'll see deadlifts change very soon. Still Kaiko to go, but unfortunately we see that again here, just over his quads. Struggles and pops out of his hands.
Right at lockout too, it popped out of his hands. It looked like he had won the battle to get the bar over his quads to the lockout and just couldn't hang on to it, as Jonathan Kaiko now will take a swing at 357.5. There's Big Body giving him 2 big hands to the back, and Kaiko looks furious. Huge fight coming. From second to first, if he could hit this.
This will give him a 919.5 total, absolutely huge. And Petrie would have to pull something mammoth.
Unofficial world record if he hits this too, by the way.
Wow, oh my goodness.
Jonathan Kaiko reasserts himself in the 93 kilo class. Unofficial world record, currently in first place. Brandon yet to respond.
And I've got to say, Ryan, it looked like he had more on the day if he needed it in all disciplines. which is scary to say the least. Incredible performance from Kaiko, 9 for 9, and it seems like that year off did him very well.
Kevin Paul, 365.
Kevin is in third place in the 105s.
We are in the 105s.
There's 4 pools remaining before we find out who walks away with a ticket to Germany.
Kevin Paul locks out 365.
Yeah, already had that bronze secured, manages to add more to that total.
And that's a big total.
And I've got to say, what looked like placeholders before seems like they can't drop too much at this point.
369 for Anthony McNaughton.
120 record.
979 should he hit this absolutely huge total for a 105. Keep in mind, what is the 120 world record?
The 120 world record belongs to Dennis Cornelius, and that's 978.5, hitting Killeen, Texas. It's Killeen, Texas.
Huge, and he
370.
hits it 369, and this is bigger than the 120 world record.
From 2016 that's held, and he's going to Germany. That I think is one of the longest held records that we have in the IPF.
What a startling performance by Anthony McNaughton.
Absolutely incredible. And we have 2 deadlifts remaining, looking to pull onto the podium into silver. We have 2 deadlifts remaining, and Ryan, my are they incredible.
Meech, 382.5.
This is for a 902.5 total. This is to surpass Brandon Petrie at a lighter body weight.
Can Meech muscle his way onto the podium?
Oh my goodness, can he lock it out though?
Just that lockout. And he left it all. Whoa, as he gathers himself, takes a knee. Meech, you gave quite the performance.
And that was the only number he could have gone for. What an incredible showing from Meech there. And 1 final deadlift remaining.
389.5. Take him from second to first, and this is a crazy deadlift. But 372.5 was there, smooth. There was room.
It's a big ask. 372.5 was already only just a kilo below the world record deadlift. This is
Everybody
a huge amount over it.
running over to the fence. This is crazy. This is insane.
And of course, we know what this is for.
I haven't seen
389.5 kilos to pull ahead of Jonathan Kaiko for 919.5.
Look at the crowd. Nobody's in a chair. Look at that scene. If he pulls this off.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
Just above the knees. He's still fighting. Whoa. Wow, what a battle. It's got to be said. Look at great final attempt by Brennan, who goes into second place. But Jonathan Kaiko, the return, we said before, probably the most decorated 93 of all time. And here we are, a triumphant return to the top. Unofficial world record with 919.5. Brennan giving us a great show right to the very last dead with 902.5. And Dom with 900. We said the platform would likely be 900 and up. We said some of the big guns might shoot and miss and fall off the platform. Gavin getting pushed off the platform by Dom. Meech making a final attempt to try to muscle his way on. What a show by the 93s that nobody will forget.
yeah, what a performance. I'm excited to Germany.
I am excited for Germany. Jonathan, we'll see you there. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Please do come back For tomorrow, we will have the 84, 84 pluses, 120, and 120 pluses. Signing off.